Hello, lovely, and welcome
Hello.
to the second part of our launch celebration. Serious, this is going incredibly well. All right, Claire will maybe talk you through what just happened and why we're 15 minutes late, while I'll pop the new link on Instagram where people can actually find us. Why don't
Yeah.
you tell people about the tech proficiency of Hanna Lisa and
And me,
what?
it started off because I managed to do two links. I don't know how I scheduled two lives today, at different times, so that was fun. And we couldn't work out which one it was we needed to link up to the program, the stage 10 that we used to do the split screen. And then while we kind of worked out how to do it, then Hanna Lisa managed to work out how to delete one. She then deleted the wrong one. So just from all angles, we both were kind of like technologically inept today. So but it's fine. We've now gone live. I think I'm trying to find us on. I'm trying to find us on YouTube to watch like the live chat, but I can't see it. But never mind. We're all good. We're gonna
Wait,
just crack on and
I'll send you the link. All right.
Oh,
Do you want it on WhatsApp or what? Yeah, I'll send it to you
yeah,
on
send
WhatsApp.
it to me on WhatsApp. But
Great.
it's all good. We are here and
I think we're here. Let me just double
good.
check the. Yeah, we are live. No one's watching,
Yes.
which is no wonder because no one knows that we're here. But yeah.
Oh, what do we like? It's all
Oh
good.
God. It's Thursday.
Oh yeah, we are live. Yay! That's good. I don't know why it's not showing up on my iPad, but never mind.
We make this more into like a little podcast episode thingy then, maybe, so that people can rewatch it later. Oh God.
Yeah, definitely.
People, what a week. What a week. First of all, I mean, as I already said, this is part 2 of our launch celebration video. Part 1 happened on Tuesday, where we showed all of the amazing samples and talked about all of the knitting patterns in issue 4 and the yarns. And we had to cut that video a little bit short because my family was coming home. And with our current childcare situation, I'm taking care of our kid at a certain point in the afternoon, and my lovely partner David then gets to work, and I was already, I think, like an hour and 10 minutes longer than planned. So yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I think we learned for the next launch of issue 5 that it takes us a long time to go through all of the patterns because they're all gorgeous, and like we also want to talk about them. That's the point of these videos, and not just show the sample and stuff, but we want to talk about what we love about them and the yarns that we use and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, maybe for issue 5 we'll just plan in 2 hours or something so that we can get through everything. I don't actually know. Would people watch like a 2-hour live stream? Oh, we split it.
I would, but it's about knitting, and I'll watch knitting forever.
True.
I guess we should always do a two-parter, an intentional two-parter, rather than let's go do it again.
Yep, exactly. But so if you haven't watched that video and you want to see everything about the patterns and samples of issue 4, you can rewatch it on our YouTube channel. I loved it. We had some great questions. We talked about what we're going to cast on. And I think it's just a really nice chat. It had a really nice feel to it, the video I felt. So
I loved
go
it.
check it out.
I had a nice time.
Also, thank you so much to everyone who made launch day so amazing, because it was amazing.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
It was. It's always such a surreal feeling. We're working on these publications for about 15 months. And so we know these pages inside out. We've seen the samples countless times. Claire has gone through the photos a million times, picking out the bright ones for Instagram and the newsletter and such. And so launch day is always for me a mix between being really excited and having to remind myself that this is actually brand new for everyone else. Does that make sense?
I know what you mean because we're so used to it, and apart from like we show little sneak peeks on Instagram and things like you said in the newsletter, but we don't really go super in depth with it until we're kind of building up to launch day. So I always get like that little new surge of energy though as I start to share things and you see people's reactions. And as well, the designers and the yarn partners and all the rest of the contributors, they're finally getting to share them, and they're maybe seeing, when you share like the little PR kit, they're kind of seeing the photos for the first time, a lot of them.
True.
So I always get a little bit like when you start getting those messages back. And this week was really nice because we sent out our subscription copies the week before, and I started getting just emails from people, and when they started arriving, getting really excited and telling us how awesome it is. So for me, I'm completely with you. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm excited for the launch, but it'd be nice, like, because we've been working on it for so long, and then I don't know, all the nice comments come in, and I'm like, it's so exciting. Everyone's seen it for the first time, so it's good kid.
Totally. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm not excited. It's just that it's so interesting to me to see the reactions of people, because, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's really hard to predict what people like and what people don't like. I find that, you know, I find that really hard. And I think I said that already in the video on Tuesday. Usually what happens to me around launch day, and what happened to me when we had our live chat on Tuesday, is that you know that feeling like you can't see the forest for the trees, I think is the English saying anymore, right? Like you're looking at something for so long that you can't really see it anymore. At some point, inevitably, that happens with any project that you work on, at least in my experience. And it also happens to me when I work on a publication. And because launch day means, you know, we've kind of, we're seeing it again in a new light. I fall in love with all of the patterns and all of the work that we've done all over again. And it inevitably happens that I'm looking at all of the samples and I'm like, oh, I really want to knit this. I really want to knit that. Ooh, and I want to knit that. And it's so wonderful. And it's such a great feeling. I don't know.
Oh no, we popped up on my iPad also. No, I'm completely with you. I feel exactly the same because we stare at them all the time, and then once we start doing it, it's always when I start seeing people trying to decide what they're going to cast on and things. So I'm like, oh, that's a great idea for that. Or they'll do something that maybe I haven't considered, like in a different color. And you know me, I'm a sucker. If someone does something in a really nice color that I like, I instantly then want to knit that thing. Because I'm all about the color. So this is where it gets dangerous. I always end up queuing up, so many patterns that I just never have time to knit, which is a shame. But hopefully I'll be able to get a few from issue 4 because there's tons in there that I want to knit.
I cast something on.
I know you did. Are you going to show us?
No, it's upstairs. I forgot to bring it. I forgot to bring it to my studio. But I cast on Talco, the beautiful hat that's actually on the cover.
I love that hat.
It's such a great hat.
Actually, I meant to ask you, when I saw you knit, because you put the little picture, you sent me a picture last night of you doing it as well. So do you do, with the brioche rib, the one right here, with the brioche rib, do you have to pick up stitches at the other end to knit the other way? Or is it like a provisional cast on then?
No, because you're not knitting it twice. Give me a second. There's some weird noise that I'm not entirely sure if my earphones are picking them up. I'll be right back.
I hear a weird noise, but you check it out. I'm going to keep just showing pictures while I'm here.
Okay, I'm back. This is a dryer that went off. That's in the other room. So no, so Talco, for everyone who's seeing this for the first time, Talco is designed by Sari Nordlund in gold yarn, and it's a reversible hat. So you can see the one side is a lace side, and the other side that's pictured here on the inside is stockinette. And you start this with a two-color brioche. The cast on edge is still going to be the brim edge, but what you're doing is you're actually dividing the stitches when you're done with brioche. So you're dividing the stitches, you're changing needle size, and then you're knitting two hats.
Basically. I could not get that in my brain.
Me neither.
After we did the live thing, I was like, that's so cool that there's like no picking up stitches with that hat. And then I was sat there and I was like, how is there no picking up stitches with that hat? And I got really confused.
I'm going to be honest. If Marina's watching this, Marina's going to laugh her butt off because she's the one who has to deal with this part of my brain all the time. I have a very hard time. So Marina, by the way, is our wonderful, wonderful tech editor. She also has two patterns in this wonderful issue. When Marina works on a pattern and I have a question, it can get very hard because I have a really hard time envisioning written knitting instructions in fabric. There's just something about it. I can see charts.
It's hard.
I'm a hardcore chart lover. I love charts because that corresponds to my brain. Yeah. Like this is also why I love knitting lace, for example, because it's all charted and it's just, you can see it. There's just something about it, and Talco is an excellent example for this. I'm reading the instructions. I'm like, I feel like I should have a picture in my head how this is going to work, but I don't.
Yeah.
So
which is exactly what I did.
Yeah. So it's just like that, which is why I applaud people like Sari, because Sari just seems to come up with these amazing construction ideas and all of those really gorgeous stitch pattern combinations and such, just like that. I always have to either try things out or sketch them or something. Like it's just,
Oh, I'm exactly the same.
Differently.
I need to chart, and if I have to try something, I have to do like 15 swatches before, like I have to try it out or I can't see it at all. I'm completely with you. Written instructions confuse me.
Yeah. So issue 4. So today we actually want to talk about, not about the patterns, but we want to talk about the editorial content. And then I also want to talk about everyone else who made this work possible, because it's not just us two. Before we go into that, little sales pitch. So issue 4 is now available through our web shop in both print and digital. There's also tons of subscriptions. If you are curious about getting a subscription and you're kind of wondering, okay, what's going to be in the next issues, a lot of our test knitters for issue 5 are sharing their projects on Instagram. So if you're looking under the hashtag Making Stories issue 5 or scrolling through some of our stories, there are some beautiful pictures of the designs that will be coming in issue 5 in there, so that you have an idea of what you'd be getting for a subscription. Ooh. We have 2 issue subscriptions, so that would get you issue 4 and 5, and we have 4 issue subscriptions, so that will get you issues 4 through 7. My brain all the time. And that was my voice. So these are available through our web shop. We also have them as digital copies. If you order a print version, you will get a digital download code, and you will get this twice. You will get an automated email after you've completed your purchase with a download link. We do this, or we started doing this way back in March, when the COVID-19 situation globally meant that shipping was severely delayed. Shipping times are kind of back to normal or where they used to be before COVID. But we're still doing it because we think it's actually a nice service to you if you're buying a print publication, you kind of maybe want to cast on already, or at least swatch, you can do that. The second way that you get your digital copy is every print copy has a download code in here, which is a download code for Ravelry. So the other reason why we're keeping the automated email is because we know that Ravelry is not accessible and safe for everyone right now. And so the automated email will also get you a Ravelry download link, but it's also containing just a direct link to the PDF. So if you're not able to access Ravelry, you will get just the PDF version. So yeah, we're shipping everywhere again. We had that question come up on Tuesday, with the exception of Australia and New Zealand. And that's because shipping charges are insanely expensive. You pay for a magazine like that 40 euros of shipping right now, which is twice the price of this magazine, which is insane.
Crazy.
So what we're doing is we're still accepting orders from Australia and New Zealand, but we'll hold on to your copies until it's actually a bit more affordable to ship them out. So you'll have the digital versions, and we'll keep your orders safe here. And then as soon as we can, we'll ship them out to you. Last but not least, we do have about 200 stockists worldwide now. Amazing. And we love yarn shops. So if you can go and support your local yarn shop, they can really use it, especially during these times. Yep.
Good work.
Quite a long face pitch. All right. Let's talk about the editorial content.
Yes.
So, do you have a favorite? Article, illustration?
Mm-hmm. I love Caroline's illustration.
Yep.
I absolutely fell in love with it the second I saw it, which is this one. I love her style.
Yep, me too.
It's so good. I love the yellow shoes as well for one, but I just love, they look so joyous. Just the whole thing about it, I think, is just lovely.
I kind of want to have that as a poster.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Definitely. That'd be an awesome poster.
I think it would be great. Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I just loved everything about it. It was just super cool.
I think it's great. And I love her style. Caroline, we love you.
We do love you.
By the way, people, if you're watching and you have any questions or comments, there is a little chat box, and we do have the chat enabled. So if you want to ask us anything, just ask away. In addition to Caroline's beautiful illustrations, we have 2 articles in there. I'm just going to go ahead with one. We have a piece by Ash Alberg, and Ash is writing about being queer enough, and it's an especially, I think, important article that really is at the how do I best explain this? How did I feel? Like, I feel it's at the same time personal and educational. Ash talks a lot about queer identity and about sort of struggles of within the queer community, about how what subverting the norm there means, and what might be accepted and what might not be accepted. I think it's just such an important piece, and it's such an honor that we get to share that. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. I thought maybe we should just read a tiny piece.
I was going to say that, read a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to read a tiny portion of Ash's author's note, because I think that is also really interesting, and then a tiny bit of the article. So a portion of Ash's author's note first. There will be gaps in this article for many readers and their own lived experiences, and many queer readers may not see their own experiences reflected in these words. That is largely the point, though. We may share some experiences with others in our self-identified communities, and there may be many more experiences we do not share. One is not more or less based on the amount of trauma, erasure, otherness, anything else that may or may not have been experienced. Labels are tricky beasts, creating community and safe spaces at the same time that they may divide us. And we will all have our own personal feelings and values attached to them. What? Wow. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love the, like, the article itself is fabulous, but the author's note kind of sealed it for me, because I think it just really drives it home that we're so eager to kind of put people in boxes and stick labels on people and try and, I don't know, not make sense of other people, but be able to figure people out in that kind of a very clean cut way. And it's not doable, and it shouldn't be doable either. That's not what it should be. So for me, I thought it was a wonderful article.
Yeah. I want to read two short portions of the article itself. In order to understand what I'm reading, you need to know that Ash is. I'm just going to read that portion of the author's note as well. So Ash writes, this article is written from the lived experiences and viewpoints of a white Canadian non-binary queer femme who passes as a cis woman and can pass as being part of a hetero-cis relationship. And then they go on describing different experiences that they've had. When the receptionist at the health clinic checks your ID and uses your dead name because it was easier to keep it on your official documents since your real name is similar enough, you'll smile tightly and hope that no one else nearby was paying attention. When you walk into a networking luncheon and yet again, pronouns aren't included in the ice-breaking circle, you'll get to play the mental game of deciding which people are likely to be around you after this afternoon frequently enough to warrant deciphering whether they'll be worth the emotional labor of correcting your pronouns until they get it. I'm going to skip a portion out, and then you'll go to queer events, and all the masculine of center and androgynous, lack of femme markers and less obvious masculine markers folks will complain about the random cis people they encountered today who misgendered them, and then they'll turn around and call you she. At Pride, you'll second guess holding your partner's hand because he may be a straight or cis dude, or maybe he's a trans man who passes as much as you do, or maybe they're a non-binary masked person, and so you now look like a straight cis couple taking up space at an event you still hold as being political. I am so moved by reading about all of these experiences. And I feel so thankful, Ash, for, I don't know if you're watching this or not, but that you're sharing them with us and the difficulties of navigating that, the space that you yourself hold in the world. And I think it's just a beautiful piece of writing and a really, really important one. And everyone should go and read it.
Yeah, absolutely. It must, I mean, just to write that must have taken so much. I don't know. It kind of gives me chills. Yeah, and I'm just really thankful that they shared it with us in this issue, honestly.
We'll have Ash here on Making Stories With to talk about it later in September. And
Which
to
is going to
talk
be
about their
awesome.
beautiful acorn shawl that's also in this issue. Yeah.
Which I'm gonna flash up again right now because I said this the other day. I'm not a lace knitter at all. I love this shawl. It's so nice.
Yep.
Maybe it's
Agreed.
because it's called acorn as well, though. But it just feels so autumny to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for them to be a guest.
Me
It's gonna
too.
be so cool.
Do you want to talk about the other article that we have in issue
Yes,
4?
definitely. Embraced by Crystal, who also has, so Crystal has Unity with us as well, which was this one. We chatted in depth about that and the awesome texture and pockets. And Crystal's also written an article on body positivity. I'm going to read the little first bit out. So this is by Crystal. Let me first say that I am by no means an expert on body positivity or knitwear design. I am learning, like many of you, more every day. This subject is important to me because it is me. I'm a plus-size woman. I'm a knitwear designer. I'm learning how to design for all body shapes. I'm learning to love me. Which, it must be, if you're also working as a knitwear designer in a community where only recently has started to take body positivity and plus size sizes into account of being size inclusive, that must be hard. That must have been to be working in a field where you're not actually getting recognized by the majority of designers. And it goes back to that whole thing of if you're knit worthy, or
Yeah.
there's a lot of stigma that comes with it. There's a lot of things that come along with size inclusivity. So it kind of just drives home. Like I've always been privileged in that if I've seen a knitting pattern, there's going to be a size in there that I can easily fall into. To not be able to do that, to have to adjust it all the time and to be working against that stigma must absolutely suck. And this article is just such a lovely, it's kind of a little love note to herself as well in working to accept herself and love your own body. And I just think it's beautiful and it's so positive. And I hope lots of people read it, honestly, because
And it's such an important journey, working on loving your own body.
yeah,
Especially as a woman, I feel we're so socialized. Men struggle with this too, but like just from my own personal experience, of being a woman, we get told from a very, very young age how our bodies should look like, and that we should be thin, and that we should not have body hair, and that we should not smell, and that we need to do all of the things to be pretty, because otherwise no boy will ever like us. And because that is apparently all that matters in life,
crazy.
We enter puberty and early adulthood and everything in this weird place of not loving ourselves and not loving our bodies and struggling and, spending tons of money on things that supposedly help us look the way that we should be looking. And the older I get, and for me, motherhood has played a big part in this, the more I'm like, fuck this shit.
True.
like, fuck this shit. And I mean, like a few years ago, I started reading a lot of feminist literature, and I've been on one of the things that I very early on read, and I don't remember which book that was, but was about, imagine how much time and energy we'd have to spend on other things if we didn't spend it on our bodies. and on
Oh
looking
God.
good for some imagined beauty ideal that we should aspire to, because why again?
Yeah.
And it's just,
I'll be honest, I could never be bothered either. It's pure laziness on my part. I was just always like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't want to
I
do
was
all this.
bothered for a long time. I did the whole shebang. I just wore high heels. I put on makeup every morning without fail. I did not buy clothes because I liked how they make me feel, or I liked the way that they looked on me, because they were fashionable, and and I wore the too tight jeans and sucked in my stomach and stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah, I went off sugar, I went off
tiring.
weed, I worked out, all of that shit, and it was not good. But it's taken, and it's so much work, undoing that socialization and trying to
Yeah,
be comfortable and loving yourself, which is why Crystal's piece, I think, is such
it's a
a, as you
great
said,
piece.
it's such a beautiful story of sharing her journey to loving herself that I could also really connect
And I
with.
think that's the
So,
important thing
no.
to take away from it. I think whatever you want to do, if you want to shave your legs, awesome, go for it. If you don't want to shave your whatever you want to do, whatever you take away from it, but just do it to please yourself. Don't
Yeah.
do it to please. I'm a great
Yeah.
believer in just doing what you want that makes you happy. If that's wearing the high heels, and that's what my sister will never
Mm.
be seen dead without a pair of high heels, bless her. But she just loves them. I've never never understand it because I fall out of them. You do what makes you happy and what feels best
That's
for you
true. Yeah.
is the key, which I think, and it's just this article really drives it home, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Me too. Um, yeah, so those are the two articles and the beautiful illustration that we have in issue 4. There's other small bits like quotes and such, and there's obviously a letter from the editor, uh, which
Well,
I'm
we should
reading again.
mention. I know I keep getting
And I
distracted. We should maybe mention about what an awesome job our graphic designer's done as
I was
well.
just gonna go into that. It's just sorry.
Yeah.
I should explain why I got distracted for a second. So I started going through the pages, and I just stumbled over my letter from the editor, which I wrote way back in March, which said, in these times, and I'm assuming it'll still be the same when you hold this magazine in your hands, I find myself turning to knitting more than ever before. And this prediction half a year ago that we would still be in the COVID situation that we're in, which is
Yeah.
this referring to the pandemic, I was like, I didn't remember that I wrote this. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, there's Claire and I, but there are a lot more people to this beautiful issue that I think also deserve a spotlight. And as Claire already said, we have a wonderful graphic designer who we've been working with for the past years, and these pages very much are her work. Her name's Camille. We love you, Camille. Thank you for making this look as good as it does. And she just does, the most beautiful things. She makes sure everything actually, is lined up properly. She's developed the entire template for the magazine. She picks beautiful colors every time around. So you might have noticed, if this is not your first or only issue of Making Stories magazine, that the flaps always have a different color. And so all of the colors are her work. She also does our beautiful schematics. So for all our garments, she hand draws She hand
I
draws
love the
these
schematics.
schematics. Oh, it doesn't focus too well on my camera. So yeah, she hand draws them, and what I absolutely love about them is that um, she'll include design details for the patterns. So as Claire just showed Star Cactus, it has kind of like an outline of the color work, and then she will also include, here for example, you'll see that it's raglan increases and things. So she does include the way that garments are constructed in her schematics as well, and she includes proportions so that you can see how something will look like. And I just love it. I think it's done with so much love and attention to detail. And I'm really happy that you work with us, Camille, and that we get to share your beautiful schematics and your beautiful graphic design work with the world.
Me too. She is awesome. I love I always get really excited when she sends over the color palette. Because it's like, oh, what colors are we going to use this time? And they're always really nice.
Yeah, true. Hi, Tilly.
Tilly decided to join us. She was doing little whines at the gate, so I thought she'd better come in.
No, lovely to have you, Tilly. I've already mentioned Marina Siwa, our wonderful tech editor, who does all of the amazing work on double checking the patterns and making sure that they're in line with our style guide and getting them ready for test knitting. And this time around, Marina was joined by Jessica Schwab, who tech edited actually Marina's patterns for issue 4. And without those two, the patterns wouldn't be nearly as good as they are. So thank you so much, lovelies, for the wonderful and tireless work that you do, for putting up with my weird brain that can't look at a knitting pattern and envision how it's going to look like knit up. Oh, probably very interesting to say as a knitwear design publisher. Just thinking
I love
about
it.
That. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can I be honest about your strengths and weaknesses? I have a lot of strengths, and I'm really good at a lot of the work that we do. And this is just something that, but it's good that there are other people who are better at this than I am.
Exactly. This is why we have tech editors.
True. Yeah. And speaking of tech editors, we should also mention our test knitters, because before these pages go into your hands, there have been a lot of stitches produced by our wonderful test knitters who've worked with the tech edited patterns and knit up countless beautiful projects and told us where patterns were great, but also often where they needed improvement, and made suggestions how to improve them, made suggestions how to make them more clear, help us double check yardage estimates and all of those things. And this is a really, really important part of any of the work that we do. So thank you so much for testing for us, everyone who did. We really appreciate your work. If you want to check out the test knitter projects, they are all linked on, or most of them are linked on Ravelry to our pattern pages. But we're also working on getting test knitter projects up on our own website. So if you missed this announcement in Tuesday's video, we have individual pattern pages now for every single pattern from issue 4 up on our website. And that's also going to have test knitter projects on them so that you can check out how something looks like in a different colorway, or maybe on a different body shape or body size. So I'm really excited about that.
I love looking at testers' projects. That's where it gets dangerous, and I'm like, ooh, look at what they've done, and ooh, look at that modification. Do I want to do that? So this is where I get in trouble.
Okay. The last portion of people that I want to thank, because without them, this would just be text, is our photographer and our model. Claire's looking at me like, what is she talking about?
No, that's just what my face does at this time in the morning.
Okay. Sorry. It's really early, people. Claire got up for us at it on unearthly hour.
Unearthly for me.
So,
Most people are like, come on, Claire.
we've worked with Melinda de la Costa again, our wonderful photographer. We've worked with her for most of the past, like for all of the magazine issues, for most of the past publications as well. And she's absolutely wonderful to work with. She knows our style, our aesthetic, and she makes beautiful photos. And Melinda has a way of capturing the light that is unlike anything that I've seen. And what really matters to me with the photos is that they're not staged. Like I want especially the model who we work with to feel really comfortable, and Melinda has a wonderful way of doing this and of capturing beautiful details, as Claire has shown right now. So thank you so much, Melinda. Without you, this would not be what it is, literally. So yeah.
You so good. I
stop.
think that might be my favorite.
That picture.
Yeah, I think
that picture. Yeah. So let's talk about Lena for a second. So Lena is our model for issue 4, and Lena is an absolute delight. As a model, yes, but also especially as a human being, she's amazing. She's supported our work for the longest time. She's been a test vendor for us for a few years already. She's based here in Berlin, and she offered to model for us. She approached us a little while ago, and she was like, if you ever want to work with someone who's more on the plus side and the things, I'd be super happy to do it. And I'm like, yes, I'll book you for issue 4 immediately. Lena's just stunning, and it was such a delight to work with her. She's also a knitter, so it was so interesting for me to see her interact with the samples, because she looked at them and she's like, ooh, this is so well done. This is such a nice detail, you know, and I think it also, she has so many, as you just said, like, so the thing, you know, with the, oh, that's such a nice picture as well. Where she cozies up in the Unity cardigan, and she just had such a wonderful way of interacting with the samples that, yeah, I loved the photo shoot.
It looked like you had so much fun as well.
Yeah, we did. It was in a beautiful location too, in the market hall. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And I'm going to address the elephant in the room here, which is that, yes, we didn't put a 6-thin model on this cover and in this issue, which was really important to me, because people have lots of different body shapes and body forms, and, you know, and I think, you know, inclusivity and inclusion needs to happen on all sorts of different scales and levels. And so I've been wanting to do this for a long time, because I don't think we see just nearly enough, not, you know, like white, slim, female looking people modeling knitwear. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I mean, just the fact that I think I was really excited when I found out she's one of our test knitters as well. And I think the models on our magazine, we always say that we want to make something that our community A, loves, and B, they'll use. And you want the people in the magazine to reflect our community. So why would you just have the same body type, the same person over and over again? You want it to reflect everyone. So that's the aim. And I just think I feel like Lena just came straight from our community and modeled for us. So it was just,
it's such a beautiful story. Yeah.
And she's lovely.
Yeah. Which is also why Claire sent me a lovely comment that I think someone sent us on Instagram. Is that right?
A comment?
Yeah, you mentioned that on Slack.
Oh, I got that in an email. Oh, are we talking about the salty comment? Oh yeah, I got that as a reply to the launch day email I sent out. You
Which
can't
is
win them all.
I'm paraphrasing. No, I'm going to be more explicit than that. I'm paraphrasing here. So someone send us an email saying, okay, what's going to be the next thing? Are there not going to be patterns for thin people at all anymore, right?
Yeah, it was
Which
basically
is
like,
kind
oh,
of
we're
like,
just ruling it out.
if you're that person, please never purchase anything from us again. I don't want to have you as a customer. And if you're thinking the same way, the fuck? Like,
well, it doesn't make any sense. My thing was, kind of doesn't make any sense because all our patterns clearly cater for smaller sizes as well. So
you know what made me so mad about it? It made me really mad. It made me really angry. And you know what made me really angry is because we're being more inclusive, we're showcasing different body types. It doesn't mean we're taking away anything from your life and anything from what you can get out of the magazine. And
exactly,
this comes probably from a very privileged position as someone who's had knitwear patterns accessible to them for the whole time that they've been knitting, and who is able to go out and purchase thousands and thousands and thousands of ready to wear items, without any thought as to whether they would actually fit their body. And so I think that it's just an incredibly judgmental and inappropriate comment to make, period.
Yeah.
Now I went on YouTube Live and said that. Yep. It just really made me mad. It made me very mad. And it also made me very sad because this is not working towards including more people. And there's still so much work to be done, no matter whether we're talking about body type or race or gender or how you identify. There's still so much work to be done. Disability, and I can't wrap my head around people who think that by including others, we're excluding them. This is not how it works. It's adding on, it's expanding. It's not cutting anyone out. And especially people who've been marginalized for such a long time, for their entire lives, they deserve it. Like, why would you not? What? Yeah.
I know. It doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fragile people out there that have had a lot of space for a long time and do not want to give it up, I guess, which is absurd because if people just actually pause and think for a moment, they're not actually giving anything up at all. They're just sharing with people who haven't had it before. And that's a lovely thing, to include more people, but some people just aren't going to see it that way, at least not straight away. So that's why we have to just keep pushing and keep making more space where we can for us. That's in the pages of our magazine and in our community, and just keep working at it. And yeah, I was mad yesterday as well, I gotta say. I had a good old rant to Chris. Chris had a good old rant about it as well.
That's good. I go on YouTube and rant on YouTube about it.
No, I think it's good to rant on YouTube because, we don't like comments like that. That's not what we stand for, and I think it's good to be really clear that that's not what we stand for either. And yeah, it kind of sucked. I'll be honest, I read it and I was like, what? And then had a little bit of a little stomp around about it, and then I was like, do you know what though? It is one salty comment in a sea of some genuinely lovely comments out there, so I'm not going to let it take away from the nice ones that we've been getting. So if you've sent any comment of well-wishing and how much you like the magazine and been cheering us on all week, thank you to all of you, because it's absolutely lovely. And each and every single comment, as you could probably tell, we take all comments on board very passionately. But especially the good ones. We're taking the salty
Yeah.
one on and are a little mad about it, but it doesn't erase all the lovely ones. And it's been such a
No.
lovely week. I've had a whale of a time this week launching it. I'm kind of sleepy as well because I've done that thing where I've woke up a few times a night going, oh, have I done such a thing? Oh God, did I put that tag in ConvertKit? Did I do this? And it's been a week of that. So this weekend I'm going to be lying on the couch pushing chocolate in my face. But no, it's been fabulous. It's been such a lovely launch. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't have said it any better. It's been such a lovely week, and it's been so incredibly heartwarming seeing all of the comments and posts on Instagram, all of the emails that you send us, and it's really such a wonderful feeling to know that all of you are out there and you love the work that we do and you see us for what we're doing. And yeah, it just makes me genuinely very happy.
Me too. And Tilly.
And Tilly. Yes.
You can't tell, but she's ecstatic.
Yeah. Such a sweet dog. I think this is also a really nice closing note for this video. And I think we touched upon everything that we wanted to talk about today, or did I forget anything?
I don't think so. I think you remembered everything. I think we're good.
We'll have launch celebrations throughout the entire month, basically. So we'll do a few things over on Instagram, starting with today. We're going to share a lot of the, we're going to highlight one pattern per day in our stories and share some of the lovely details. And we'll have one guest every week join me here for Making Story Snips with. That's going to happen every Tuesday at 4 p.m. CET. And next week, I'm actually joined by the wonderful Marina Stua, who I've already mentioned a few times here, and I'm thrilled to be talking with her. And we'll be talking about her beautiful design Sarcactus and her beautiful shawl design Frostbeam and her gorgeous yarn Mendip. And I'm really thrilled. I love Marina, and I can't wait to have a conversation on YouTube with her. So
we can see her in as well, because we, bless her, we kind of used her as our little YouTube live guinea pig, thinking everything was going to be fine. So there is it's a fantastic episode with Marina, our very first ever Making Stories Knits with. Unfortunately, it's just audio. It's a great interview, so if you would like to listen to that one, it's just we don't have any video because it wouldn't work. But that's fine because she's going to be on next week anyway. And
exactly.
A lovely face.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too. Alrighty, lovelies. Until then, have a wonderful week. Do share it if you've cast anything on from issue 4. Do share it with us on Instagram. Tag us in the pictures. Hit like under this video and subscribe if you like this. Forward it to your friend who you think might enjoy it. And we'll see you again here next week.
Yes, you will.
Alrighty. Bye, lovelies.
Cool.